Now, of course, if you've seen this film before or you're going to see it, please let me know in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching. What is going on, guys? This is Angus15, and today I'm going to be giving you a full review of The Great Gatsby. Now, of course, this is starring the one and only Leonardo DiCaprio, who of course is an absolute killer of a actor, and of course it's also starring Tobey Maguire, who is of course known from Spider-Man. Now, even though he was starred in quite an important role in this film, I found that Tobey Maguire really wasn't that important in this film, as this film is pretty much based on the novel The Great Gatsby and also the original film. So in a way, the 2013 version is pretty much a revamp of the 1974 old film The Great Gatsby. Now, I have watched the older version and it's not that great. However, that was, 40 years ago, so the cinematography and directing and stuff like that wasn't that good, and the camera work, etc. So that is why The Great Gatsby was revamped in 2013, is because the cinematography, directing, special effects is absolutely outstanding, and this is one of the films that features it. Now, of course, the cinematography was absolutely excellent, as Simon Duggan did an absolutely fantastic job, and also something that I really look out for in films is costume design. Now, who the person was in charge of this was Catherine Martin, and I found that she really did a good job as well. Okay, so The Great Gatsby is pretty much about this guy called Nick Carraway, who is played by Tobey Maguire, and he finds that he lives next to this neighbour, next to this guy who starts sort of acting weird. Now, the film starts off with him talking about it, as he's actually talking to a therapist about this. However, you actually see, of course, the flashbacks of this, and he's describing what he sees. So he sees this man just peering out his window, and then for once he actually gets an invitation. So he looks on the card, and it is, of course, Gatsby. That is his neighbour. And on the card it says, well, the invitation, it says J. Gatsby. So that is full name, and of course this is played by Leonardo DiCaprio. So after that, he goes to his party and he tries to look for him, and he spends hours looking, and then once he finds him, he finds that he's actually really interested in him, and he spends a lot of time with him, and then the film goes from there. Now, I don't want to give too much information, as it's best that you don't know the plot, of course. Now, what I really like about this film is, of course, the acting is absolutely brilliant. It's what the director really intended to do by this film, and it really did perform, because it was absolutely fantastic. Now, not only was the directing and the acting good, it was also the cinematography, as I said, the costume design, and also the best of all is probably the script. Now, of course, this is based on the novel, as I said before, but it really does show, because revamping it for the 2013 year was absolutely perfect, because it really did show off what they could do with the camera work. Now, of course, with most films you get soundtracks, and before they released the film they actually made a soundtrack. Now, obviously the album on iTunes is called The Great Gatsby Soundtrack. However, it is absolutely brilliant, as it's got all the songs in the film. Now, even though the soundtrack is absolutely brilliant, I found one really irritating thing, because I listened to the entire soundtrack before I went to go to see the film, and unfortunately when I went to go see the film, they barely played the songs. There were only three songs which I recognised they played in the film. One of them was Love Is Blindness, and some Kanye West songs and Jay-Z songs. Now, of course, they sounded brilliant, but they only played for like 5 seconds, and that was really disappointing, because they're absolutely brilliant songs, and it really did work when I was listening to the full tracks. However, I felt they really could have played them for longer, because they sort of played and then just faded out in the film, and it sort of brought up all the pressure and tense, but it just faded away, which was really disappointing. Now, when watching this film, I found that was the only irritating thing about the film. However, apart from that, everything was absolutely brilliant. Directing, screenplay, cinematography, costume design, special effects, it was all absolutely brilliant. Script as well. Now, for that reason, I'm going to give it an 8.5. I'm not going to give it a 9, because, of course, the sound is really important. You do get films where they get Oscars for sound mix and sound editing, so they really could have improved this.